Right, yeah, he's an Iveco Daily, 3 litre diesel, big powerful bad boy, although it doesn't feel like it when it drives at max 50 miles an hour. It's an old girl, 2005, it's got a lot of miles, 335,000, so hopefully it's got some good life left in it though. Yeah, well, cab's pretty standard, full of all my crap. What have we got around here? My water tank, fresh water. Just goes straight through to my taps on the inside. Got like a onboard LPG as well, it's quite handy. It's all supposed to be fairly stealthy, so there's nothing on the side really apart from the odd bit of graffiti. Cheers for that, we have did that. And yeah, quite rustically covered up. I'm back. Got these sliding doors because I've got no windows on the side. I figured putting the sliding doors means that I get a lot of light in when I open up the slider, so that way I can like just open up the roller door, get loads of light in during the day rather than having like just pure darkness inside. Well, that's what it looks like in there right now. Around here I've got my grey water, stores all in there, and that drains out through this pipe, which you can just unclip. This is the hot water heater. It's actually completely buggered at the moment. This just taken out of a caravan. But yeah, it's like I had a real mare with that. It just started leaking water everywhere. Like one day I just woke up to this weird sound. It's like I thought it was in my dream. And I woke up and I got out of my bed, climbed down to the floor, and I just stood in like an inch of water in the floor.
Flip.
Oh man, it was leaking like this, so I had to disconnect it and like bypass it with my taps, but yeah, it's all good.
Nice.
Right, climb in the back.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, naturally the tail lift is broken, so you've got to have a bit of fairly athletic to get up. You can do right getting up?
Yeah.
Yeah, just kept this ladder in here to access the roof because working on stuff up there like solar panels and stuff, and the light and the light, what do you call it? Skylight. Oh, it's called skylight. And the chimney as well, which I've recently installed. So I'll get the proper lights on you guys see it.
Nice.
I don't normally use those because they're quite bright white lights, but I do a trick. In fact, I control them from my phone somehow.
Oh, awesome.
Maybe I can turn them a bit brighter. Yeah, so don't ask me why the controls are tucked away up there. I actually didn't do most of this van. Most of this van was done already when I bought it. I used to live in a transit van and was lucky enough to be able to upgrade to this bad boy. Yeah, I should give you a bit of a tour. Right, okay. So you come in the doors. This sofa bed, it's where I currently sleep. It's a complete tip in here. You know how it is. I actually, well, I've been living in it and it's just a mess today.
Yep.
My dad came and pranked me for the film, so it's all good. And I had just did a long journey and I ended up, a lot of stuff fell everywhere, so all this stuff's kind of gone all over the floor. Yeah, so this is my sofa bed. It pulls out into a double, which is pretty handy. I used to sleep up there. As you can see, I've got a lot of crap in there right now. I needed somewhere to put my crap. We all do, and so that made the most sense. I'm just sleeping on here right now. Yeah, this is a little unit that I put together to store some stuff. I've got my log burner on top of there. No, this is actually so nifty. It's only 12 kilos in terms of weight. It cost me 200 quid. And it's all like collapsible. You could take all this down really easily. And then this is just some heat-proof fabric which is just hung over here. This doesn't get hot. This doesn't get too hot. Well, it does. The rug gets hot, but it doesn't get hot underneath here. And like, it's all sweet.
Nice.
So yeah, I've got my leisure battery which runs the lights, and that runs also like my phone charger and stuff, and that's kind of all I use it for, and the water pump obviously. And then I've got this thing which is really handy bit of kit, which is like, it's an anchor, what do you call it, anchor power something, what's it called? I don't know, but you know, yeah, commonly referred to as Jackeries because that's one of the common brands that they make them.
Nice.
This is just a real small one. It's only like a 300 watt inverter in there, but I power my amplifier off that, which is great fun, and I can charge my phone and my laptop off that stuff.
Perfect.
This rail is super handy. I think if anyone's going to get into a van, just like hooks, rails, pegs, anything you can hang stuff on, because you can't put stuff on shelves or on the surface.
Yeah.
Otherwise it just flies away. So like this thing's pretty good. Just hang this crap on there. And like I've got the rail comes back. Oh, see, look, that's come off there, hasn't it? And yeah, this is great. And I've got these clips, which are super handy because you can just clip stuff onto it. Like, there you go. Always need access to pliers. That's
Yeah,
another thing.
that's handy.
Oh yeah, these are great as well.
Sick.
What else? Yeah, just got loads of shit underneath here. Storage. Right. Here's my kitchen. This has all come out of a caravan. So like with the water heater, this all came out of the caravan. So the guy who did it, got it for 100 quid, the kitchen. So it's a pretty good deal. Again, hooks, pegs, clips. It's all you need. It's all you need. Yeah, and then got a sink here, tap runs. Ooh, don't want to do that, get it down my sleeve. These will work. Got an oven. I mean, it's great. The grill works. Got some gas. I don't do too much cooking in here. Well, I don't do much sophisticated cooking anyway. I cobble stuff together for dinner.
Sounds good.
The fridge, yeah, fridge is a bit of a problem actually because it's the gas fridges I think are pretty good in the winter. But if you've got enough solar to run an electric fridge, then I think that's the right move. But these are just a pain to plumb in. Basically, like it's just leaking. It wasn't put in correctly, so it leaks carbon monoxide everywhere when I turn it on, and so I haven't been using that. So right now it's just kind of annoying because in the summer the van gets real hot and stuff just goes mouldy straight away. Yeah. I literally just found some mouldy pears in my cupboard. I probably should stay on top of that a bit better than I do. That's all good. And then back here you got like this is my water thing. So this is where all the water was leaking out of, and it must be like 20 litres leaked straight into the floor, and this is not good because the floor's made of wood. So I've basically got these in here right now, which are like, again, these are a godsend if you live in a van. I would highly recommend getting some of these for the winter because you're going to get condensation everywhere on anything that's metal, and just generally like it does get a bit damp. But these are, you can find them on Amazon. They're like big versions of silica packets that you'd commonly find in whatever, like dried pastel, like you buy in bulk kind of thing. So yeah, I'll shut these down there to keep it all warm. I have to just bypass the dry, bypass it.
You good? Got it. Oh, there you
Good.
go.
Thank
Nice.
you. Yeah, it's got my scran and stuff in here.
Nice. That was handy.
Yeah, nice drawers. These look great. These little catches, but they've both fucking broken.
Ah.
So like it does fly everywhere. So what I normally do, like there's no ladder to get up there, so I just have this chair, right? Climb up the chair, access here, and then when I'm not using the chair and I'm driving,
Straight in. Straight
the doors
in.
don't open.
That's handy.
It's a pretty janky way of doing it. Right, bathroom. So now, okay, shower, cold water. Obviously, like the hot water has to disconnect so the cold water works. That's pretty good.
Good amount of pressure.
Yeah, it's decent, and it's just like you got to hold down the tap, so you don't end up using much water. It's only really there just to, like, if you're actually just dirty and to clean yourself, like it's there for that. I shower at the gym, so it's quite good getting a gym membership. Got the sauna up there as well, so it gets like rainy, cold, miserable. To be fair, in here it feels like a bit of a palace compared to previous living situations I've had.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does still get pretty like cramped in here when it's raining and stuff, so it's nice to get up and use the gym, use the sauna and stuff, and like actually treat yourself, isn't it, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, like duct tape as well. Duct tape's my friend. Had to patch that up. I need to find a better solution because there's this gap between the wood and the actual air vent, so I need to somehow wrap that in some kind of like plastic thing that's going to be moisture proof. See, constant driving with the van. I think this is the thing, like when I first moved into my van, the transit van I was in, like it was completely empty and I was living in it and converting it around me, which is great because everything, you know, you don't really get those teething issues, you just like do it and it feels right. But then again, it's a never-ending project then, isn't it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a similar deal with this.
Yeah.
Because I've had to constantly change stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's always constantly working, it's constantly work in progress, which is fine. This is just, yeah, don't mind it like that. Toilet, if you want to check it out. This thing's actually pretty sick. I have never taken a dump on this toilet, but I could. Oh yeah, that's actually plugged into the leisure battery as well. But if you've not seen one of these before, it's like, you open it, open that, do your business, put everything down there. Get this. Oh, go on, please work. Yes! Flushes. It's very weak pressure, isn't it? So I had a problem where I would start driving and the toilet would just fly out and it actually broke my shower door.
Oh no.
It just like pinged it. Luckily I hadn't like used it, otherwise that would have been a big problem. I don't know if that might have broken damage the flush, but I'll check that. But wedges, door wedges. Again, very useful bits of kit for keeping stuff in place. Pegs, duct tape, door wedges, hooks. These are the kind of things you need
Yeah.
when you're in a van. Anything that can clip onto something is great. And yeah, I guess that's kind of the tour really.
So yeah, we're just going to cover some questions about van life.
Different things,
Different things to do with vans. What's it like living in van? And because obviously you go to Bristol.
Yeah, I'm at
Quite-
uni.
yeah,
Uni,
so
I'm at
yeah.
Bristol.
So about that. So you're at uni.
Yeah.
What's it like living in a van in uni circumstances?
I'd say it's like everything is a couple percentage points harder,
Yeah.
and yet you've got so much more freedom.
Yeah.
That's just generally speaking, but in terms of uni, I'm saving a hell of a lot of money, that's for sure, because I don't have a bullshit rent contract that ties me in all year round.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, like Bristol's notoriously expensive.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of friends paying a lot of money. Yeah, I got really lucky actually, because in Bristol,
Yeah.
so I knew I was starting at Bristol and I thought I'm not going to spend all this money on accommodation.
Yeah.
I'm going to live in a van, and conveniently or inconveniently it kind of worked out okay. The van I was living in at the time was like a postman's van.
Was
And,
that the Transit?
No, that was a little red Vauxhall combo.
Okay.
That died on me,
Ah.
which is like fine because I had to upgrade anyway, and I ended up getting a bigger van, and then I was like, right, started at uni, and I was like, okay, where am I going to live in the van? And just looked around on Facebook, like Bristol,
Nice.
looked on the internet, looked on like Reddit and stuff, and found out that there was a place called Clifton Downs,
Awesome.
which was very fortunate because when I rocked up there when I was supposed to start uni, not knowing really much about Bristol, and it just turned out that Clifton Downs was right next to where I was going to
Perfect.
uni. It was perfect, and like I rocked up there and I parked up in my van, and I just seen like the uni shuttle bus going past, and then like they started assembling the freshers fair like literally right outside of where I was parked.
No
So I
way.
was like, what the fuck, like I've landed on my feet here. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
good. I would say if you can though, like try and get a van that's like nicely sorted out if you are going to do the uni thing, because it can be quite hectic, like going to the environment and not having everything sorted, you know what I mean, like still finding your feet.
Yeah.
But if you can adapt, then it's fine, you know.
And especially in this, because obviously it's so incognito, so it doesn't look anything like a camper van, which
Yeah.
is awesome because it's just complete spy gear, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's-
It's pretty incognito. I mean, I think you probably noticed it, wouldn't you? If you saw me driving past, you'd be like, that's someone living in that.
I think that's a
Yeah,
camper.
for sure. As soon as you get a bird's eye view, you see the chimney and the solar panel
Yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty nifty. My last one was super incognito because it was just a transit van with like,
Yeah.
it even had like chevrons on it and stuff, and like no windows.
Remember that? Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. But yeah, stealth, I think it's like, I think if you're gonna get a van this big, I wouldn't even bother with stealth really. Like, people are gonna know you're there.
Yeah.
In terms of the question of a Luton van versus like a a normal size like builder's kind of van,
Yeah.
because that's something that I thought about a lot. I'm sure other people probably have a similar question. You get more space, it's great. Fuel efficiency, it's a bit more. Like maybe it's just this van's 3-litre diesel, so it's like kind of bad on fuel generally, but like also if you want it to be stealthy, like this is not the one to be stealthy in. Even though this is like stealthy van, you can't really tell it's a camper van. It's like, man, you've taken up so much room. The smacking branches, like
Yeah, of course, because these are obviously a lot taller, like solar, and just having like skylights, all that kind of stuff. It's like trees. So yeah,
I've even got to think about it's like service station height limits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Low bridges and stuff.
I've only come across a couple where I can't get into. Yeah, even like low bridges, man. Like I notice it now. Like I drive on the motorway and stuff, and you can see like in the left-hand lane of all the bridges, there's normally like a nice like crack in the bridge where like someone's obviously hit it in a lorry. I'm like, fucking. Like,
yeah, you're looking out for all these like cracks and bruises.
Yeah. But I would say like, unless you're gonna live in it in winter, don't bother getting a litre. You know, if you're gonna live in it in summer, like get a normal, like one like yours.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Have you done winter in this?
No.
Not yet.
No, but
it's gonna be really interesting.
I think it's gonna be sweet. Like log burner, like that's such a luxury.
That's awesome.
Yeah, such a luxury. So I had a diesel heater in my last one.
Yeah.
And I would say definitely you need one. If you're living one in the winter, you need a heater.
Yeah, we did it last year and it was cold.
Without one?
We actually we had one, but it didn't work.
Yeah. Oh mate, they can be
so
so finicky as well.
Yeah.
This is why I think the wood burner is good, because it's like, it's just simple, mate. Like you just light it.
Yeah.
And it gets hot.
It's
like it's
easy.
Then you just, as long as you've got a chimney, and the chimney's fairly simple. So.
Yeah. And I suppose you can save on gas as well, obviously, because you can your kettle or frying pan, whatever.
Yeah.
It's really easy.
Exactly. I haven't actually used it for that, but I will do in the future. I think it'd be quite
pretty
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
So what are your for people out there that are looking to do van life or looking to buy a van? What would your let's go cons first.
Yeah.
Cons of van life. Obviously,
cons of van life.
Big ones are like space. You have to majorly decrease space and things like that. So what would you? What are your top like 3 points of don't?
Well, I think ultimately it comes down to what kind of attitude you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about your attitude, really. I think if you've got a kind of like positive attitude with it, and you can see that actually like you've got to be able to adapt. You know, like there's so many times where it's like fucking hard.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can understand me, like damn it, like break down and like fuck, and then like you've got to just juggle and like sort shit out and do it right there and then, and get on your hands and knees, get under the van, like sort stuff out. Sometimes you're like up at 2 in the morning and like something's broken and you're like, shit, I've got to fix it, or there's gonna be like water coming in. Do you know what I mean? It's like this kind of things. But as long as you've got a good attitude, then it's not really a con. Yeah. It's just something that you deal with and it's fine.
Yeah. Part of the journey.
Yeah, and the same thing with the space thing. Like you kind of see it as having to cut down your space, or you can see it as like actually freeing yourself from your possessions and stuff like that.
That's a really good point. Yeah. That's a really good point.
Which is a helpful thing to do, really. I think. I've got loads of stuff actually in here. What am I even talking about? I've got loads of shit. But,
you're like, oh no, what can I get rid of?
Yeah. But you do have to like. It does force you not to gather stuff that you don't need as well, which I think is really good.
Yeah, just those bare essentials and stuff.
My mate was trying to give me some of his old clothes the other day, and I was like, yeah, they're nice, dude, but like, I've got a shopping basket of clothes. I can't like fit them in. You know what I mean? You've got the same thing with your wardrobe, right?
Yeah, it's those little cubby holes.
Exactly.
Last thing.
Yeah.
The cons. The pros, sorry. The pros of van life. So. Your 3 pros to doing van life.
You learn a lot of skills that you wouldn't even expect you'd pick up. Yeah. Especially buying like an old janky van that everything's broken. Yeah, that's a good one. I think I would recommend. Like, I think everyone should do that. Honestly. Yeah. Like it's way more fun that way. What else is there? Pros. The money thing. I know I've met a lot of people who say that they haven't saved money doing van life. Do you think you have?
Yeah, 100%. So we were actually calculating the other day, back home where we live, I think it was 750 for a 1-bed house, basically. Yeah. like we've made that easily back already.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you know, and rent's just stupid at the moment, isn't it?
Yes.
People out there, so
For sure.
we only rent. Well, we don't pay rent, you know. We own our house in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, you do obviously have outgoings. You've got your gas, you've got your, and it is a big setup when you're doing your solar and whatever you do. But yeah, we definitely have saved.
Saved a lot. Yeah. It's nice not having all your paycheck going out every month and stuff like rent.
Yeah. Especially when you're at uni.
Yeah, totally. I pay a lot of insurance money.
Yeah.
Because I bought my first van, well, like the big one, when only after a year of driving, so I didn't have any no claims or anything. Less than a year, so I paid $3,000 insurance for the first year, which is an insane amount of money. Which is a massive contribution. Like, when you think about that every month, it was like £240 a month I was paying.
Yeah.
Which is a lot, but even then it worked out cheaper.
Yeah. And
I think especially with the uni accommodation, like I would recommend it to so many students. I think, like, you know, it maybe takes like a bit. I'm fortunate enough that I started uni a bit older.
Yeah.
And I kind of was able to like experience, like knew that it was an option, but like especially for students, it makes so much sense, like money wise, because it's such a scam. Like these student accommodation contracts that last the whole year. Yeah. And like, well, I guess it makes sense, but like, you know, how often do you go and rent a place and they say, oh, you know, you need like minimum term a year? Like, that shouldn't really be a thing, even if it is. Yeah, like when I first rented a flat, it was like you give a month's notice, 2 months notice. Yeah. Not a year, like sign up for the whole year and then it's janky.
That's it. At least in this, you don't have any of that, none of that crap. You do you.
Yeah. I mean, also obviously you have the freedom of being able to travel. Like, that is obviously a massive pro. Yeah. I think I personally find it's not as much as people think it might be. Just because the price of diesel is so much. Yeah. Certainly in this thing, do you find the same with your?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. Like we haven't done much travelling in it yet, but diesel is high at the moment. For sure.
I guess for you guys travelling as a family, it makes sense because it's still cheaper that way. Absolutely. And you've got all your stuff, you're sorted. Yeah. But I think in terms of, like, for me, just by myself, like, traveling, getting a flight way cheaper than driving my van anyway. Yeah. And same with like getting hostels and stuff is cheaper than.
Definitely. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Someone's putting on my van.
Sounds like it. Mate, it's been sick to talk. It's been awesome.
Cheers, Dan.
Having you on Where the Wing Is. So thank you again. We'll see you soon.
Totally.